It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
Section 2, 5-73-120 of Arkansas law reads, carrying a weapon. A person commits the offense of carrying a weapon if he or she possesses a handgun, knife, or club on or about his or her person in a vehicle or occupied by him or her, or otherwise readily available for use with a purpose to attempt to unlawfully employ the handgun, knife, or club as a weapon against a person. Folks, that is the text of Act 746, which was passed in 2013, which decriminalized the possession of a firearm, giving Arkansas constitutional carry. And I want to welcome to the program, on behalf of the Patriots of Act 746, we have Mr. Chuck Clifton. Chuck, welcome to the program, sir, for the first time.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Really glad you can do it. Now, I want to remind everybody that this segment is brought to you by the Patriots of Act 746. They are on a mission to educate the people of Arkansas about their Second Amendment rights, about constitutional carry, about Act 746 and it being possession of weapon being decriminalized to the point where, I mean, the burden of proof on the prosecution is, well, I just would say it's fantastic because it means that we have more freedoms here in this state. Now, Chuck, let me ask you something. When did you first hear of the Patriots of Act 746?
A friend of mine had turned me on to it, and several years ago when it first passed, a friend of mine told me about it, and I didn't really believe it, and I actually called and talked to one of the congressmen, and they didn't really want to come out and say what it was. And then back in, I guess it was October, I was on Facebook, and somebody had turned me on to the group 746, and once I got in there, those people in there really educate you on what the law is and what your rights really are.
Yes, they certainly do. And by the way, folks, I mean, search them out for yourself. I mean, we've had your colleague on, Mr. Tim Loggins, for several segments, and he's heading up the Northeast Arkansas chapter. And I mean, he's just been texting me that almost every weekly after we do these segments, that they have all of these requests from people who are going to Facebook. They're searching for Patriots of Act 746, and they're requesting to become a member of that Facebook group. And so, I mean, it really is a lot of people want to know what their rights are, is what I'm going to say. So let me ask you this, Chuck. I mean, what has transpired in you? I mean, now you're on the program, you're speaking for Patriots of Act 746. So, joining that group, where are you now versus where you were when you first joined?
When I first joined, Paul, I wasn't sure of what we could do legally and what couldn't, because some of the parts of the state, as the governor said, it's up to the prosecuting attorney rather than following state law.
Mm-hmm.
And as I become more educated about my rights, I began to carry open carry. Before, I carried concealed and just concealed it and rolled the dice and took my chances. But I started carrying concealed since I've been part of the group, and I use that as a tool to educate others that they do have a right.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people ask me at gas stations, can you carry that legally? Well, sure I can. This is your rights. And I give them a card from 746 to let them know, and I show them on the back what 573-120 says.
Mm-hmm.
That it says that you have a right to have that on or about your persons. Where the governor and everybody else gets this open carry, I have no idea for, because there's nothing in the bill that says anything about open or concealed. It says on or about your persons.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, well, do you still have to have a permit to carry concealed? No, you don't. Do you carry your pocket knife on you or in your pocket? Do you carry your billfold on you or in your pocket? It's in your pocket. It's concealed. So therefore, that pocket knife is no different than that weapon. You can carry it concealed, open, any way you wish, because all it states on there is on or about your person.
So let me ask you this. I mean, the governor came out and he said that we have constitutional carry, but then of course his definition of constitutional carry was wrong. because he's still protecting the budget of the Arkansas State Police. And now he's trying to pivot. The only reason he announced this is because he's got Jan Morgan as a primary opponent.
That's right.
So what are your thoughts on the governor essentially saying, hey, check with your local prosecutor, to make sure that you can carry a weapon? I mean, we don't say that with any other law.
No, it's ridiculous, Paul. All right, the governor is supposed to be an educated man and a lawyer. He's been a federal prosecutor, I believe, headed the DEA. He surrounds himself by people with big law degrees and college degrees, but none of them happen to look at the definition of constitutional carry before he made that statement. Because if you look at the definition of constitutional carry, it states in there from Webster's dictionary, open or concealed, permitless, which means no permit required, carry it any way you wish.
Mm-hmm.
And that I got that definition out of the Webster.
And he is saying you can open carry under Act 746, but if you want to conceal, you still have to have a permit, which is just a very, that's just so strange. And the real reason he's doing that is to protect the Arkansas State Police budget for people who, have been conditioned psychologically to believe they have to have a permission slip from government to exercise their human right to protect themselves.
You're exactly right, because it's all about the money. It's not about telling the people what their rights are. The state police receive millions of dollars a year from the permits. So if the governors will get on there and tell everybody, hey, you don't have to have that to carry in Arkansas, they think that everybody's just going to quit getting permits. Well, that's not correct, because you still need a permit to travel out of state for other states that are not constitutional carry.
Yes.
So for the governor to get on there and say, well, you can open carry, but you can't conceal carry, well, that's blatantly false, because there is no statute to back up that to start with. And he says, that to have a permit is not does not interfere, or he used a different word for it, to make you have a concealed carry in Arkansas. Well, a constitutional carry state, you do not have to have a permit. If he will look at the other constitutional carry states in the country, that's exactly what it is. They still issue permits, but it's for out-of-state travel. And they still have permits, but it's only for out-of-state travel. It's a cash cow for the Arkansas State Police, and they're afraid if they tell the people's going to say, well, if we don't have to pay it, we're not going to. A lot of people still are, because a lot travel out of state.
Exactly.
And the other states, I'll give you a prime example, Arizona. There's a lot of people in Arkansas that get Arizona concealed carries because they're recognized in almost as many states, and it don't cost them $140 to do so. It costs them $65. Mm-hmm. The fees are just ridiculous.
Yet I'm convinced that the Founding Fathers did not intend for the Second Amendment right to be something that gets sold back to the people, that gets taken by the government. Hey, we'll sell it back to you for a fee. And I don't believe we treat any other right in the Bill of Rights like that. Like, here, take this, or hey, we'll give you this. Hey, we'll allow you to have your right to privacy under the Fourth Amendment if you have a privacy permit. It's really a double standard, to say the least. Now, we're talking with Chuck Clifton. He's from the Patriots of Act 746. Go to Facebook, search for Patriots of Act 746, and request to be a member. Now, Chuck, you are the coordinator for Northwest Arkansas. Is that correct? And so what city are you calling from right now?
Right now I'm calling out of Elkins.
Okay. So how is how is that chapter up there? How is that, would it be a chapter up there? How's the Northwest Arkansas Patriots doing?
We're doing pretty good. The last time I looked, we had almost 500 members. It's growing. And the more we get out and talk to people and show them that they do have a right, that if they'll just do a little work for themselves and just read the statute. And what a lot of people do is they've been indoctrinated into this for so long that when they read 746, and I was guilty of it myself at first. I was reading things into the law that wasn't even there. It's because of the indoctrination. But when you educate the people, then they want more knowledge. So then people's wanting to join so that they can get that knowledge. And 746, you can go on there and ask a question about a gun law, and someone will get you the statute. They don't give just opinions, they give facts.
Exactly.
And that's what the people are after, is the facts. You know, Paul, we still have that $1,000 reward up for any prosecutor or anybody that can show us the statute that makes carrying a concealed weapon without a permit illegal with a penalty, or a statute that requires one. You would think that one of these lawyers around here would have put a legal aid on that and sucked that $1,000 up a long time ago.
Yeah,
it would have cost him $20 or $30 to get it done, and he would have made a nice little profit.
Yeah.
We've not had no luck.
Yeah,
we've also not had any luck getting arrested for doing so. I have made the comment many a times to people that say, well, you'll get arrested for that. So, well, tell me who will, and tell them where to meet me or where I can meet them, and I can give them an easy arrest. Mm-hmm. I'll be more than willing to let them arrest me for concealed carry without a permit.
Yeah.
Because they have no statute to charge me with.
Right.
And they know it. The prosecutors know it. Matter of fact, the prosecutors, they're hands off. Mm-hmm. I've talked to sheriffs and police chiefs, and I talked to one police chief, and he told me, he said, we're doing the gun deal just like the medical marijuana deal. It's hands off. He said, I'm not going to end up putting my time out for somebody. He said, he told me about the medical marijuana deal. He said, if somebody's got below the state minimum and don't have their card with them, I've instructed my officers to send them on their way. I'm not going to end up in court somewhere because I denied somebody their medication. Mm. He said, we're the same way with the handgun, with carrying a weapon. He said, because there is no statute for that, and the area is so gray, the prosecutors won't prosecute.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's happened a bunch. I've had people that drop the charges after the police officer arrests them. The prosecutor then comes back and drops the charges. It's happened several times. I think part of the education effort is kind of learning what the debate is. It's you have to come to the conclusion that there are people in positions of power who do not trust you with your human right to carry a gun to protect yourself or your family. And that is, well, let me just ask you this. We're talking with Chuck Clifton. What are your thoughts on the enhanced carry bill that passed, that now we have a new layer of red tape? If you want to carry in these special places, the government's now they're trying to double down. I feel like this whole effort was a way to undermine Act 746 2013, which decriminalized the possession of a firearm. And if you listen to what the governor said at that bill signing, he said he disagreed with the initial proposal, which would have just given college professors in the existing red tape who had already gotten that permit. If you're a college professor and choose to carry, you would be able to carry on campus. And the governor said, no, basically, we don't trust those people unless you go through additional training. And that's really, to me, Chuck, that is the argument. We have elites in positions of power that only want us to have a weapon if we meet their standards of whatever they set. Respond to that, please.
Well, the story that kind of gets back to your last question there, Paul, about us having to buy our rights back. Not only are we having to buy this concealed carry permit from the state as to get them their permission to carry, now they want us to pay a little bit more money, spend some more money for training to get permission for a right that's already been given to us. It should have been given to us on the first permit, but it shouldn't be a permit at all. The enhanced stuff, from what I understand, is 30 pages of regulations that nobody can comply with. And for them to say that, well, if you get this, then you can carry in these places. And now we're learning that a lot of those places are now opting out of it. So you're going to have a permit, by the time it's all said and done, that you're going to have a permit that's only good if you want to go to the state capitol and carry in there. The rest of it's going to be garbage.
Yeah.
Because we've already had universities backing out of it. If they get a okay for an emergency plan from the state police, if they approve that plan, then they can opt out of this bill. Well, that's a law. How do you opt out of a law? It's ridiculous, Paul. It's garbage. They knew it was garbage. The first bill, from what I understand, was the best bill, and then they kept adding to it, and now we've got legislators running around crowing about it like a fanny rooster.
Yeah,
and it's a bunch of garbage.
Yeah,
and I don't think the people ought to do anything with it.
Yeah, they're trying to now take credit, and that's what drives me nuts. Is they're going around, putting out that this is a good bill, and they're ignoring, what they did when they made the sausage. Is they just bent over and contorted themselves in all kinds of ways to protect the governor. The governor did not want to sign the bill as is, and so then they come in and they start adding all this other stuff, and none of them really want to ever come out and say that. They want to say that it was a good bill, but because they made political considerations, the actual policy, as in how it affects the existing concealed carry instructors, how it affects the people, let's just say, was not considered because of the moderate opinions and views of Governor Asa Hutchinson.
Oh, that's right. And Asa got on there, and there was a poll going around. They were calling people, and one of the deals in the poll, they said, to this story to be true, that Asa Hutchinson has advanced your Second Amendment rights in the state of Arkansas. I said, well, start with that's a false statement. Asa Hutchinson hadn't advanced anything in the state of Arkansas as far as gun rights. He's threaded on the gun rights. Because the enhanced carry garbage, all that does is impede more on people. Mm-hmm. If we'll remember correctly, when Act 746 was passed, we had a Democrat governor. He signed that law. I don't believe that Asa Hutchinson would have even signed that law. He would have vetoed it. Asa Hutchinson and the elite, they think they're above everybody else. It's okay for them to have police protection and weapons to protect themselves, but the common man, the working man out there that actually pays the bills down at that Marble Palace, they don't have that right.
Yeah.
But we'll give that right to you if you'll pay us a fee.
Yeah.
And the citizens of Arkansas is fed up with it. I talk to people daily that are fed up with having to pay for something that God gave us. My concealed carry permit was signed in December of 1791. It does not expire.
Yeah.
It does not require retraining. It does not require me to send any more money to the state. And whenever the people start waking up and realizing that, then the legislators will have to do something, because the ones that won't do nothing will no longer have a job.
That's really good.
They'll be on that gravy train too long down there, and it's going to be time to get those people out, get some people back in that are constitutional conservatives, not Republicans, but constitutional conservatives that believe in the Constitution of the United States and believe in the Arkansas Constitution, and they put the power back in the hands of the people where it was intended to be to start with. And when they do that, they'll start seeing this state turn around. You'll start seeing jobs. You'll start seeing more people move into here. You'll start seeing taxes go down, and you'll see incomes go up. But until that happens, we're going to be stuck with a status quo in this state, and we know where that is. Mm-hmm. High taxes, low income. And if I hear that term, job magnets, one more time out of a legislator, I'm going to puke.
Yeah, because they're not implementing the reforms the people have been voting for. They're coming back. They're trying to grow government and tell us they've made it smaller, and it's just not the case. Hey, Chuck Clifton.
I call it political Common Core math, Paul.
I like it. Chuck Clifton, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Thank you so much for coming on the program. I can't wait to do it again soon. And good luck with their Northwest Arkansas chapter. Folks, go to Facebook.com and search for Patriots of Act 746 and request to be a member of that page, 12,000 strong. Chuck, be safe, okay?
Thank you very much for having me, Paul.
All righty. Folks, we got to take a break. It's Conduit News Radio. Good morning. Back in a moment.